so much for being here. Can you tell everybody your full name and where you're from?
Sure. I'm TIffany Albright. I'm from Greensboro.
Great. So that's not too far away.
No, not bad.
So, Mara, was this your first film, or had you been doing this for a while?
It was my first film in a long time. I had done film school and had worked for a little while, but hadn't made anything in about 6 years. And this was sort of me getting my sea legs again.
Nice. Well, you did a great job. And as I said, you're writer, director, and producer. But anybody else who worked on the film, it was an all-female crew. Is that right?
It was. I was really excited and proud of that. I realized just sort of the friends I was pulling in and the cast were all women. I was like, you know, screw it. We're going to make sure everybody...
Yeah, no offense, guys, but we know how to get it done.
I've worked with lots of guys, but yeah, I was like, no, I've never done that before, so it sounded fun.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about your film, Mara. And am I right when I say there was only one word of dialogue, and that was Mara?
That is correct.
Can you tell all of us about the storyline, unless, some people, find they need the enlightenment, so.
Sure. So it happened one night that I was walking to the bathroom and heard a noise and freaked myself out. So since I couldn't go to sleep, I went back and wrote the first draft of the script while laying in bed trying to get over nothing, literally nothing. But I wondered what sort of, could be a story there where something was actually causing this distress. I wanted her to be alone. I wanted it to be, in the middle of the night where there wouldn't be anybody else for her to talk to. But she's become convinced that there is this other presence in her house, and it happens to be a child.
Yeah, I totally get that. But what was when she opened the drawer and stuck the pink? What was that? It was just like a piece of a toy?
Yeah, so it had been an octopus earlier on. It doesn't show it for very long. Things that you might change if you could go back. But it's sitting on the counter beside a toothbrush holder. And then when she comes back to the bathroom, it's been sort of decapitated.
Yes, as were other things laying in that
yes.
drawer.
Some unfortunate incidences with toys.
So I don't know if you want to get close to Mara or not, because no. So what hopes do you have for this film? Are you thinking that you'd like to expand it into a feature length, or are you working on other projects now?
Well, when I made it was just a standalone thing. I was just like, this will be super easy. We'll shoot it in my house, which we did. In the time that's passed, we shot this late last summer. It did sort of stay with me, and not necessarily what you see on the film, but I do have a feature version that I've written that I'm sort of workshopping, and it's sort of inspired by the film that just wouldn't let me go.
Nice. So I need to ask, like, as you're a writer, director, and producer, do you ever find yourself having to correct things as a director because you're like, that's not the way I wrote it?
All the time. They're very different hats, and they should be different hats. Ideally performed by different people, honestly. But this was just a thing that I really wanted to get off the ground. So I did mind it.
Awesome. So I know you said you're kind of penciling in a feature length of Mara. Do you have any other projects that you're working on?
I've got a couple of other shorts. I shot something this spring that I'm almost finished with post-production for. Not a horror, just a straight drama narrative. And then I've got another feature script that I'm working on as well.
Awesome. So have you ever been to the Outer Banks before?
You know what? It's crazy. I haven't. I've lived in North Carolina for 20 years, and I haven't ever been to the Outer Banks.
Wow. And how long was your drive? That's what, 3.5?
No, it's like 5 solid
5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So.
Which not anything like the 29 hours.
Right. Yeah, they were like an extreme, but
that was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we definitely thank you for coming all this way, and I just have one final question: is what is your favorite movie, or what was your inspiration growing up to turn into a filmmaker?
This is kind of a cop-out because it's a super popular film, but I just rewatched it. The Shining was a huge influence on me in wanting to tell scary stories. That is still primarily my genre, even though the last film I worked on was not a horror. I love it. I want people to be scared, but humans are the scariest things. And so I sort of love that.
Yes, we totally agree with that. Anyway, thank you again so much for driving all this way.
Thank you
And
for
I
having
know
me.
we have a lot of screenings scheduled, but I hope that you're going to have some time to kind of look at the Outer Banks. We're only this little tiny strip of islands, but like I said before, we have the ocean. We have a ginormous sand dune if you ever like need another planet or anything.
Love it.
Do you think that maybe in the future you ever might use the Outer Banks as
I
one of your
totally
places
would.
to film?
Totally would.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And again, after our North Carolina block, we're gonna break for dinner. But then, are you gonna be around after that?
Yeah, I'm around.
Okay, because we have the orange carpet, and you get all of you guys can get up close to Tiffany here. I always say we're getting these guys when they're starting small. We hope that you're gonna remember us when you're super famous and all.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again.
All right,
And
thank
if
you.
over there on that table, we do like to get your autographs. So if you wouldn't
Absolutely.
mind just signing on your way out.
Sure.
Thanks so much, Tiffany. All right, you guys. Thanks, Tiffany.